Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Into the Vault, the show where we reach back into the Disney vault, pull out a movie, and find out if it was a hidden treasure or if it was locked away for our own good. I'm your host, Garrison MacCraw, and today I'm joined once again by Billy McCoy. Billy.
Hi, that's me. You just said my name.
This is a great way of doing things. We are totally separate across different states. We can't look at each other. We can't smell each other like we normally do.
I know. That's usually how we greet.
Yeah. You ever seen how dogs greet? It's similar, but instead it's hair. It's just the top of our head.
It's true. It's true. Which makes things very awkward around our significant others, when they're just like, "I don't think you and Garrison should hang out anymore."
And then we say, "Well, maybe you guys should try it."
And then an argument ensues, and it's not good for anyone.
It's really not good for any people involved. But yeah, I'm glad to at least hear your voice.
Hey man, I'm glad to hear your voice. The
dulcet this whole thing?
I made it myself.
So today we're looking at the Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, the hit 2008 action adventure New Zealand fun. If you like Lord of the Rings, but you don't want to watch a 10-hour movie.
Do you like Lord of the Rings? Do you like otters? Well, good sir, do we have the film for you?
Yes, this movie is the sequel to the little bit more well-known Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
The Jedi.
Yeah.
Yes, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. Yes.
It's the sequel to Return of the Jedi. After Vader turns back, his Force Ghost actually arrives in a magical land.
Luke is about to get back into his TIE fighter when suddenly the TIE fighter dissolves and he finds himself being summoned once again to Narnia.
Guys, we're just kidding. He has an X-Wing, not a TIE fighter. Just kidding.
That's true.
No, so do you have a lot of background with the Narnia films in general, or the books? Did you ever read them, watch them?
Yeah, I watched the books. I put them on a shelf and
stared intently.
And I would whisper to them, "Tell me your stories," and they never did. No, my father was a huge Chronicles of Narnia fan, and he actually had this. He had this really interesting box set. I thought it was so cool because it literally, like, it wasn't just all the books in the series. It had this like really ornate like commemorative box that you put all the books in, with these cool covers to them. So I remember reading the books a long time ago, and then the rains came. But I don't remember. I didn't remember the fine details of them. And I did watch the first movie. I really enjoyed the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Tilda Swinton. It was born to play every evil queen in existence. That is a niche, for her. But yeah, I had not watched this movie. I'm always unsure of like what tense to use here. Like I had not watched this film before, but now I
think it's
watched it. I have not wooched this film, but now I have.
Now you've weeched it.
I've weeched it. I've weeched it good, or because you asked me to weech it. What about you, man? Were you always a Chronicles of Narnia fan?
I read the first like couple. The very, very like first one in like the chronological order is called The Magician's Nephew, and it's very conceptual and weird, and it's about the origins of the universe and all that. I can never get into that. So I read like Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and Voyage of the Dawn Treader, because those ones were like a linear narrative, and the other ones are just kind of weird. I did enjoy the first movie. I actually saw Prince Caspian in theaters, and I thought like back then that it was awesome. Like I think I liked it better than the first one, but then as time went on, I felt less and less people were even aware of its existence.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping maybe we can like figure this thing out together. What makes the first one work? What makes this one more forgettable to people? I don't know.
That was really funny. You're like, I'm just that the normal trend would be like, what makes the first one work? What makes the second one work? Instead, it was what makes the first one work. Why are trees good?
Why are trees good? Actually, they answer that one in this movie. Why trees are good.
uh, they do answer that question. Okay, so the first one is nostalgic central.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, there's nothing truly inherently like the worst thing that happens to a kid is he's offered candy by a strange witch. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like the good guys, it's exactly what you would imagine. There's a battle. The good
Good,
guys
evil,
win.
very black and white.
Right. And then I for the second movie, I totally get where they were going. Like, it's almost like the executive sat down and they were like, yeah, but what if it was like edgier? And everybody at the table was like, what? I was like, yeah, just like cooler,
Political
you know.
corruptness and power and lineage and like colonialism.
Sir, I don't think you understand. I think the reason the first one did so well is because it tapped into the core,
Colonialism.
sort of adventure.
They're
Yes, but sir, I
colonizing.
don't think
They're taking over from the native people.
that's what kids are
That's what they
into.
love.
They're into skateboarding, Mountain Dew, and politics. like, and so I get it. I totally get where they were going with this. But and the fact that like the kids look the same age, which they were, like they immediately before the first movie came out, they were working on this one because they were like, oh man, people are gonna so be into this, like because they didn't want the kids to age out
Narnia
of it.
Central, you know?
Like, yeah, yeah, but I don't know. There were some weird
Yeah, yeah.
choices.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the story. So
Please.
we open up to like our four heroes just meandering around London, and at the end of the last one, they had grown up in Narnia, become full-fledged adults, living lives as kings and queens, and then they were transported back to the real world and had to live their lives as kids again. Which makes a lot of the flirting that happens in this movie very odd to me. Where
Yeah,
it's like the
yeah, it's
16-year-old who's also 42.
yeah, but isn't that weird
Yeah.
though? Like they've lived a full life. Like they've lived a, like that's
And
so
then they're back
odd.
and they're just like, oh, I don't want to be a kid anymore because I was an adult one time. But they all act
Yeah,
like the age they are, not so much
yeah,
the age they became. So I don't know. It's Narnia magic.
it's
I
weird.
also enjoy
It's super weird.
Peter, the oldest one, gets into a scuffle with two schoolboys in the beginning, and this man has killed minotaurs and witches,
He's killed so many
but he
people.
can't beat up
This
two
child.
16-year-old punks
Wouldn't that have made for a much better
if he
scene?
just floors them.
Like, well, if he killed him, like like in the middle of a Disney, like we would still be talking about this film today. Like, how in amazing was it that Disney released this movie where this child went, I have I have fought for my life, sir. I have killed demons the likes of which would send you cowering. And it's like, and you dare attempt to take my lunch money? Like,
Um, then over in Narnia world, we have this group of people who are there. It's very Spain influenced, like conquistador, something adore.
so, yes, a jar, if you
Uh,
will.
slightly opened, just the door.
Mhm.
No, but these guys had basically taken over Narnia, and there's this prince. That's Prince Caspian, our main hero. But the king has a son, so that means Prince Caspian, something Caspian. If he dies, the king's son will be the next king, and not Caspian. So Caspian has to leave, or something like that.
And it's weird because you're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that movie. That's the one where the kid is threatened by a baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love that Disney movie where the baby is the bad guy. Totally, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, this baby really sets things into motion. So Caspian is given a horn by his professor who's like, it's not safe for you anymore. Go into the forest. And Caspian's like, okay. And he goes. And in the forest, there's all these dwarves and Narnian people. And he's like, oh man, I did not know there were dwarves and Narnian people out here. And they're like, hey, we hate you, because you're a human guy. And he blows his horn. What a time.
This would be the D&D equivalent of like, now this magical item is one to only be used in the direst. I blow the horn. No, wait, let me finish. It is only to
Blow
be
it.
used. I blow the horn.
Blow the horn.
Well, fine. Let's move on.
Yeah. The horn transports all 4 kids back to Narnia, and everything's different.
They've been gone for 130 years.
I think it was longer. I think it was like hundreds of years.
Oh, was it? I thought it was like either way for a child to have been through so much and to finally be like, well, I think I'm finally getting a hang on what it is to have indoor plumbing again. And whoa.
And they're back and they're like, by the way, it's been hundreds of years. Everyone you know's dead.
Cool. Great. Just for me to know, how many horns exist? Like, this would be good to know, right? Before, does everyone here have one? Like,
the kids go back to their where their palace used to be, and they're like, oh man, it's gone. It's just gone. And they go to their chest of old things they used to have, which is one of my favorite parts because everyone was given something by Santa in the first movie. So Peter's like, my sword. And Susan's like, my bow. And Lucy's like, my dagger and my potion. And Edmund's like, my hat. Because he wasn't there for the gift giving. So they just made this choice that he loved his old helmet.
It was like, oh, yeah, by the way, we have a brother. Do you have anything? I mean, I guess you can give him this hat. Yes, that's perfect. Great. He won't care. Like, that's
my
awesome.
helmet. So Caspian's on the run from all the adores. Yeah, the baby. On the run from the baby.
It's way better if you change every sort of political thing to like he's running from the baby.
The baby's guards are after him, and he's saved by a mouse, and he like meets up with some dwarfs and a badger or whatever, and they bring Caspian to where all the Narnians kind of exist. And the Narnians discuss, should we kill him because he's one of the baby's friends, or should we keep him alive because he has the horn? And Caspian's like, keep me alive. And they say, okay.
Oh my god, was this movie bad?
No. That's great. I feel like I'm just doing a bad job explaining.
No, you're actually doing a very good job of explaining, and that's why I'm worried that like this is just one of those like special movies that I was just like, oh no. I think
there's also something I want to point out. Because in the next scene, the kids rescue a dwarf from the baby's guards, and the dwarf is played by Peter Dinklage. And so Peter Dinklage is like the main dwarf in the movie, and the secondary dwarf character is played by Warwick Davis, which I think is a perfect metaphor for how casting works in Hollywood. You get Peter Dinklage to be your main guy, and if you can't, then you get Warwick Davis.
Right, which feels wrong. Like now that you're saying, like the majority of this movie, the more you talk about it, the less amazing it gets. And I worry that this podcast is crossing the Rubicon.
No, it's fine.
Like this.
Here, I'll get us back on track. So they kill a bear. Is that better?
They do kill.
Am I helping?
No. There's also an otter with a great deal of sense.
Otter does not kill any bears.
No.
So really, we can root for the otter so far.
Yes. Which is really one of the more human characters in it is the otter. The one that the audience tends to go, well, I hope they end up okay.
That and the mouse. I love the mouse. They have a little swashbuckling mouse. He's great. Played by Eddie Izzard.
Oh my gosh. I Eddie Izzard in anything is good, but Eddie Izzard as a mouse is something I didn't know I needed until this film.
And here's something for you. They didn't bring Eddie Izzard back for the next one, so Simon Pegg plays the mouse.
You're gonna make me watch the third movie. I wasn't planning on watching the third movie, but now it's Simon Pegg in mouse form. How can I not watch this movie?
I'm sure we'll find a way to not watch it.
All right, we'll continue with your
Yes.
recap.
So the kids and their dwarf friend try to find the Narnians, and then they do. And Peter and Prince Caspian, they aren't friends, but maybe they will be later. They will. They will later. They'll be friends later. Because they're both, I don't know, proud.
Right. So Luke and Han Solo. I mean,
Huh?
no.
Huh?
Yeah. No.
And the Narnians like, hey, all the babies, guys, they keep trying to kill us, and we don't like it. And Peter's like, how about we just try and kill them? And the Narnians go, great. So they sneak into the castle.
They do. Okay.
And I really enjoy this battle sequence.
That, like, of them in the castle?
Do you like it?
I mean, it's definitely like the edgy thing of like, oh, we need this cool epic battle. I do not remember it from the book at all. And I did not remember this battle. And then I did a little bit of research, and apparently they added like a bunch of battles because they're like, kids love political warfare and otters and battle.
I loved it.
Like
I love this otter and battle.
Yeah.
Good stuff. They're coming in on like griffins carrying them and using flashlight signals. Kids' favorite stuff, you know?
It's pretty great.
Speaking of great, so the gate's shutting.
Oh my god. Okay, but when the gate is shutting, I love how like half of them get away. Like half of them are like, well, goodbye forever.
Yeah. This battle happens.
Just like,
the guards start closing the gate because the baby's dad was like, I hate all these Narnians. We should kill them all. So a Minotaur is trying to hold the gate up while all the Narnians escape from this battle that they're losing. And they kill the Minotaur, and there's just like a bunch of Narnians stuck in the gate, just staring out while they're all getting slowly shot down by crossbows.
It is not a children's moment.
Just strangely brutal.
Yes, very much so.
So back at Camp Narnia, Warwick Davis has had enough of all this nonsense. He goes, there's only one being, if Aslan isn't showing up, who is just as strong, and that's the White Witch. Luckily, I happened upon a ceremony to bring her back. Don't ask me how. I just know it. Me and my friends, this werewolf and this bird, all we need is Prince Caspian's blood. And Caspian is more than happy to give it. How'd you like this little Tilda Swinton cameo?
This cameo is amazing. I love Tilda Swinton and everything. There's not she has yet to do something where I'm like, I don't know if Tilda Swinton was right for this role. Like, I love her. So the fact that she showed up, like, is amazing. It was like the Red Skull showing up in...
Yeah, I cheered just as hard when the White Witch showed up as I did in theaters when the Red Skull showed up.
It's true. Do you remember the audience screaming out in delight? You know what I mean?
You always remember that first time you watched Prince Caspian in a full theater.
You do. It's usually because you're the only one in the theater, but you still remember. It's a memorable moment. I love that, and I love how they handled it. Like, if this hadn't been a book series, I would have been like, this feels contrived. You know what I mean? Like, the greatest... What's better than the greatest villain? Oh, maybe it's the greatest villain again. What? Why would we do that twist? Like, but it's an interesting pull on my part too, to be like, the Captain America's gone. There's only one person who can save us. The person he hated most. I'm worried that we're talking about this movie does not have it age well, but I enjoyed that moment in particular.
The only thing that was sad is the kids come in and ruin the ceremony and kill Warwick Davis, which bummed me out.
It's a bit of a bummer.
I like Warwick Davis being alive in movies. I don't know. That's just a personal thing.
You do have that odd T-shirt.
I prefer Warwick Davis alive in my movies. Thank you very much. And on the back, it's just Warwick Davis giving a smile and a thumbs up, and he's wearing a T-shirt that says, I'm alive.
It's true. I can't believe you got him to wear that T-shirt and then take a picture, and then just put the picture on the back of your T-shirt.
Man, I tell you, we became close friends during all those Star Wars Weekends days, and I miss it.
It's true. Probably one of the more odd requests that he ever received.
I doubt it.
I do have to bring up too that when they bring her back, her being like everybody immediately regretting their situation because she's like, "You have done it. You have summoned me. Now I just need a drop of blood." And everybody's like, "Ooh, I don't. We thought you would be cooler. Like, I don't
Now that we're in this
know."
situation, I think we're realizing it was not our brightest moment.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
So anyway, Edmund like destroys the glass ice case that she's trying to break out of.
Mhm.
And they're like, "Ooh, that was a bad idea." Anyway, so the army's here, and they look outside, and the baby's army is all out there.
Totally makes
Yep.
it better. I stand by my choice. Baby's
Yep.
army is out there, and then is this where the duel
Yes.
happens? He's like,
Peter, the
Okay.
oldest sibling, is like, "Here, I'll do a duel to distract them while I send out my sisters to go find Aslan to eat him or whatever he does."
Yes,
Calling upon the power of your universe's god to eat your enemies, as one does.
it's true.
They use some trickery. Not really trickery. It's more of just like goading the other king to challenge Peter to a duel where they're like, if you're not brave enough. And he's like, "I'm brave enough. No child will ever beat me in a sword fight. I'm brave. I have a baby. I must do its bidding so it can become king."
Joke's on you. Bullies just took my lunch money, and I'm still angry about it.
Peter challenges this well-trained swordsman to a fight when he couldn't beat up two bullies just 10 minutes earlier. So this is going to go well for everyone involved. Peter basically, after some time, beats him down, and then the king's general does some sneaky maneuver and shoves one of the Narnian arrows into him and is like, they shot him! Didn't you all see that? How they shot him?
Didn't you just put? Isn't that your arrow? You wrote your name on
No.
it. No,
The Narnian shot him! And that's enough for the armies to fight. And remember the fight at the end of the first movie? This is kind of like that one.
Very much so.
It's the same. It's another big fight.
It's the exact, but then the Lorax shows up, and played by a lion, and I speak for the trees, and the trees, the Lorax summons the trees.
Like I said, if you like Lord of the Rings, this is just like that in pretty much every way. In the end, it's trees who save everyone.
No, it is trees and a river god. It is
Lucy, the youngest, finds Aslan, and she was like, "I always believed you were here." And Aslan's like, "Cool." And Lucy's like, "Why didn't you show up earlier?" And Aslan goes, "Mysterious ways, you know?"
You didn't blow the horn to summon.
All you had to do was ask. No one thought to ask, "Please, Aslan." They're just like, "Where's Aslan?"
So Aslan shows up with the help of the trees and the river god. Prince Caspian becomes the king of Narnia. Everybody surrenders, and they were like, "You did it, Caspian. Mostly you, Aslan, but you in particular, Caspian, were here during the
around.
battle.
You killed at least 5 guys.
I mean, the river and the trees killed the majority, but we can't conceivably make a tree a king, so I guess by default you're the winner."
Mostly because we have one crown, and we tried to put it on the tree, but it was too small. But the crown fits your head. Caspian's like, "Okay, I'll be king. Works for me." And Aslan's like, "Good job, everyone. The babies, people, all the people of this nation. If you want to go live on some other island, that's cool. I'll open a portal for you. Everyone else, if you're here, Caspian's king." And then Peter and Susie, the older two, are like, "We're never coming back to Narnia." And then they leave. Not because they're angry, they just feel it inside them that they aren't allowed back or something.
Right.
Their contracts were for 2 movies.
Listen, please don't blow any more
Yeah.
horns, okay? Like we have a life to
Yep.
live now.
And
Like,
everyone's happy, and Narnia's safe. And that's the end. They're all back in the real world, and back where they can't even beat up other kids their age after killing a ton of actual adult men.
okay. Um, hey, everybody. This is Billy. We've had a lot of fun here today, and I hope you've had fun listening to this podcast. The podcast isn't ending in any way, but I I don't. I feel like you should still watch this movie because it does have some good moments.
I think,
Like,
genuinely, I think this movie has a ton of great moments.
it does. What was your favorite
Um,
moment? Like, if you're trying to sell this movie elevator pitch style, like, what do you?
I just think in fantasy films, it's really hard to kind of up the ante from the first one. Like, the first one
Yeah,
was such a big deal. It was like the entire universe was taken over by this evil witch who had an army of magical soldiers. And so the next one, how do you up that ante? It's most of the magic's gone, so the few magical creatures that remain have to fight for their existence against man. And I think that's actually a really cool like conflict.
yeah, yeah,
The central idea was really good. I think most of the battles like look great. Even most of the CG holds up pretty well too for being like 12 years old at this point.
yeah. I'm a sucker for when the heroes first meet each other. Like when the heroes first meet each other and the heroes fight, and then they realize they're
Yeah.
heroes. Like those moments are always going to be my favorite. Like in the movies, like that little epic scene between like I think it was like Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. You know, but I think I'm overselling it already. There is a much lesser scene where the, the kids come back and there's this sword fight that happens in the woods between I think it's Prince Caspian and
Yes.
Peter. It might be Peter, yeah. But at one point, Peter takes a swing at Prince Caspian and manages to, and I kid you not here, hit a tree so hard that the sword sticks in the tree. Now, anybody who has ever actually swung a sword knows the amount of force that it would take to carve a tree with the swing, but it's still an entertaining scene to me. Yeah.
I feel like that was a backhanded compliment.
No, I remember watching it and being like, "My dude, really?" But I still enjoyed.
He was trying to kill Caspian.
Like that. This movie would have had a very different ending. Like the guy that hates babies got killed by a bigger child. Like
I want to clarify, by the way, the baby is barely talked about in this movie.
no, the baby is not issuing orders and is a terrible baby. The baby, but it is way more entertaining for me to describe this movie with like, and then,
And then the baby. And you know what? Baby's still alive at the end. So good on the baby.
Yeah. Prince Caspian still gets to be the king, and the baby gets to live to fight the king another
Come
day.
back in Narnia 4. The
Mhm.
baby's back.
The boss
baby.
baby. Unless that name's already taken, but I don't think it is. So,
Billy, how would you like to hear a little bit of like trivia?
why, gee golly willikers, Garrison, I'd like nothing more.
So the director of this movie, he directed the first Narnia movie. His name is Andrew Adamson. He's basically directed 4 movies in his life, like 4 mainstream movies. Chronicles of Narnia,
okay.
Prince Caspian, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, Shrek, and Shrek 2. That's it.
Really? Okay. I mean, it's a good catalog.
But that's it. That's just weird?
He went out of the top of his game.
Otherwise, he's done like basically a small New Zealand movie, or he like one of the Cirque du Soleil like theater experiences he did, but he's done 4 mainstream movies, and it's those 4.
Yeah.
Over at Walt Disney World, there actually used to be a Prince Caspian experience over at Hollywood Studios. Do you remember this? Okay.
No. God, no. I probably would have blocked it out.
It was basically just this show building that they would rotate with different movies that were coming out and like do like a little like intro, like you walk in the building and there's like basically a set piece from the movie. And so for Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, it was the wardrobe. and you'd hear a little bit of audio about
Mm.
Narnia, then the wardrobe would open up and you'd go in. Here it was the entrance of like the tomb, and you would go in and inside would be like the stone table
Oh.
cracked in half, and it like looked like the set, but then they would just play clips from the movie and like behind the scenes and like here's how we shot this thing on a blue screen and I'm the director. And it was basically just to get people hyped for
Pretty
the
cool.
movie.
Yeah, that's really cool. I actually
And
did
then at
that.
the end, like you would leave and it would be costumes and concept art from the movie. It was a little thing and it was kind of pointless. That's it.
I mean, I still would be interested
Yeah.
in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sad to see
They
it go.
actually they replaced it with a Jack Sparrow version, like a pirates thing, and it was kind of one of the first time theme parks used like that kind of projection 3D thing that we see in a lot of rides now, like Gringotts, where a character will walk in front of a screen and it'll kind of look like they're there, but you know you're looking at a screen.
Yeah,
Um,
that's really cool.
yeah, it was one of the first like versions of that.
I enjoyed that experience. That was at
Yeah.
MGM or
Yep.
Hollywood Studio? Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
It was all in that building. They also for a brief moment, I don't know if it was just for special events or if it was daily ops, but they had a meetable Prince Caspian,
Like a walk-around character? Oh, wow.
which I'm
Okay.
not sure if anyone which let if you think of all the Narnia characters, is Prince Caspian the top number 1?
No, and it had to have been awkward, like, every time somebody came up with a stroller, him running away from the baby, like, that must have been, like after a while, like, they're having to justify it. It's like, "Andy's coming," and all the toys drop, like, Prince Caspian running from the baby, like, might have been funny the first, like, 4 or
And they
5
eventually had
times,
to
but
like write into the program like, "Hey, we have to stop having Caspian run away from this baby. We have to teach him to not
listen,
fear it anymore."
babies are not to be feared at the Disney parks.
Um, the actor who played Prince Caspian in the movie, apparently he's not actually from Spain. He does not have a Spanish accent, and he modeled it off of Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride.
Really?
Like straight up, apparently he modeled his voice just off of that.
Yeah, but, didn't they all have that accent?
Yeah, but he like as an actor, his method
Oh, okay.
was like one of the things he like researched was just Inigo Montoya, which is funny because he also has the "you killed my father" moment.
Yeah, you killed my father,
Yeah,
prepare to die, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's cool though. I love little stuff like that.
and that's all the trivia.
Hey, thank you for a little peek behind Prince Caspian.
If you were to craft a Narnia character for a D&D campaign, what how would you do it?
Mouse swashbuckler, like mouse like swashbuckler, like that freaking mouse, like. Oh, but I would request it. Like I would have it in D&D Beyond. Like a little side note. Like you can craft this, and it's very powerful. But you must have Eddie Izzard's implicit permission to be able to play this. Like here is an email that you can send to, and he picks one person every 5 years. He comes out of his chateau and reads through the emails for a day and picks a worthy successor to the throne of cool anthropomorphic animals. Uh, but that's it was very engaging to me. Like they had minotaurs and yeah, Aslan is there and like I can talk to trees. No, 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 no. That's what I make.
I think for myself, I love the idea of this baby character who has all the power in the world, but they're just a baby.
I am going to make a campaign, Garrison, and the only bad guy in it is going to be a baby, and no one will get it, but you'll know. You'll know, and that's all that matters to me.
So if we were to make a ride for this movie,
Mhm.
trying to think what Disney park, what kind of ride would it be? A ride? Would we want to do a restaurant? Tell me what are we feeling right now for Prince Caspian?
I I almost want to do like less ride and more like immersive theater.
Okay,
Like more like like occasionally you're in a random place and the horn blows and you are summoned to assist in this battle. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like
Like
your
you
app
are
on the My Disney experience like beeps.
yeah. You get pulled into something that is like very secretive and very like nobody talks about, and it's just a very cool like miniature experience. Like that's probably what I would change it into.
I think this almost sounds like something that could be done instead of in a park, like if you're a resort guest, like how they have like the like the pirate dinner thing where you watch the fireworks and you're on the pirate ship, or where you go see like
Yeah.
a hoop-de-doo or something like you have like your reservation set at some point during
Yeah.
the day, and you still
Yeah,
know in that time period you're gonna have to be summoned to some point around there.
yeah, or even like imagine how special you would feel if you just had a bunch of actors like running up and up to a family and just being like, "The prince needs you, you know, quickly," you know, and the parents arrange it for the kids, but the kids don't know it's coming.
I think that would be awesome. And
Dude,
then like you have to go, and it's either some kind of, I'm trying to think how to like do the actual like battle part, if you it's some kind of VR thing, or if it would be like a thing with actors. And
I would do actors. I would do half actors, half VR, so you could do the actual like performances from it.
I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be
Yeah,
really cool. And you can put
yeah,
it in that old building where they used to have the Prince Caspian attraction.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you have the
Yeah.
building.
No, that thing's gone. It's probably Toy Story Land now.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, Billy, I think now's the time where we have to officially decide, is this a hidden treasure or should it be locked away in the vault? What do you think?
Hidden treasure. I enjoy it. It stands. It's not one I'm going to actively seek out. There's no reason to lock this bad boy away. If you stumble upon it, you know, then and you saw this like I did, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Now, treasure can be many things. Treasure can be a gold doubloon that changes your life, or it can be a fiver that you found while doing the laundry. And this is more of the fiver that you found in the laundry. There's it's still treasure. You're still happy to see it, but your expectations are tapered.
I think I totally agree. This movie is by no means like a classic. Um, if it like just disappeared one day, I don't think too many people would start a riot. But it does exist, and there's a ton of fun like character moments and battles, and it's a fan. There aren't too many high fantasy movies out there, like just in general, like really good live action, like high fantasy. Like you have your Lord of the Rings, but otherwise, a lot of the like high fantasy stuff is either like a Game of Thrones really gruesome or kind of dumb, like Dungeons and Dragons the movie.
Well, I think you've said all you need to say this particular podcast, Garrison. I think
Do you like Jeremy
you
Irons fighting a
you
dungeon or whatever he does?
you put your foot in your it firmly in your mouth, sir. No, you're right. I mean, we need more. I mean, Lord of the Rings is kind of it. You know, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. You know, but there's a Lord of the Rings TV show coming. You know,
Yeah, and
so fingers
apparently
crossed.
there's a Narnia TV show coming. Netflix is creating their own little Narnia miniseries at some point.
Eh, we'll see how that
Yeah,
goes.
more high fantasy. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I'm about
Yeah.
it too.
Billy, if people want to see more of your kind of stuff, where should they go? What should they look at?
It's like you can always come to my house. I'm usually no. Please don't come to my house.
Oh, I go to your house all the time.
You do. You can go to twitch.com / indigo _ chameleon. I do lots of Dungeons and Dragons where even though it's not implicitly stated, the bad guy is usually a baby. If I don't state exactly who the bad guy is, just assume that it's a baby.
I always do.
Thank you. That's why I love it.
If you like this show, you can check us out on Instagram at Into the Vault Podcast and stay tuned for updates and just fun pictures of Disney things, or when the next episode's coming out, or skits that I do related to the movie. If you like the show, you can also review it on your Apple Podcast app. Just give it 5 stars. Why not? What's it going to hurt you? Nothing.
It's true.
Billy, thank you for joining me. If you'll excuse me, I hear a horn, so I think I have to go join Epic Battle.
Okay, I'm gonna go run away from my baby.
Bye!
Bye. Get out of here, baby.